You're watching Iowa Live. Everything local, entertaining, and meaningful in Central Iowa is right here on Iowa Live.
From the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, welcome to Iowa Live. I am Lou, and boy, it's always nice when we come into the studio and we see this lady, Attorney Kim Baer, joining us. Hello, Kim.
Good morning, Lou.
Now, she's from, of course, the Baer Law Office. So we're going to talk about something today very, very important. Car accidents.
Yes, okay. yes. I thought we'd talk maybe about some common questions that we get when someone's been in a car accident.
All right, like for example, what's the first thing we want to mention to everybody?
Let's talk about seat belts.
All right.
So, in today's world, it's really hard to be in a car and not have a seatbelt on, but if you are in an accident, even if you didn't cause the accident, if you didn't have your seatbelt on, the jury has the right to award up to 25% of fault to you.
Right, because it is the law here that you have to have your seatbelt on.
It is the law, and even if you didn't cause the car accident, maybe that made your damages worse. Maybe you hit the windshield or God forbid, went through the windshield.
Is that very common where people aren't wearing seatbelts anymore?
It's not. It used to be a thing about 10 years ago, but we now rarely see it.
Okay,
so.
Now you might be involved in an accident like this, but you're wondering maybe you're laid up and you're not able to work. How am I going to pay my attorney?
Right, and we get that question all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes people delay calling an attorney because they say, I don't have the money. Most attorneys take these cases a contingency fee, and that means you're not going to pay the attorney anything unless there's a settlement or there's a jury verdict. Our firm does them for 33%. I think that's the common amount. There are some people out there, some attorneys charging 40%.
Really?
So you just want to make sure that when you're talking to attorneys to represent you for a car accident, that you ask them what the fee is.
Okay, so now when you get the funds coming in, say you do get a settlement here, do you have to pay taxes on that?
Typically, no, because
Really?
yes, because it's going to be for a personal injury. Now, there are some exceptions to that. So, for example, if you're recovering lost wages, that might be taxable.
Okay.
One of the things that we do for our clients is if we're settling a case, we make sure that release says this is for a personal injury claim, so that if the IRS ever comes knocking, you've got that in the settlement agreement. But you don't report it on your tax return or anything like that.
Now, what if you're in a situation where you are not able to do normal things and your spouse has to care for you?
Right. So Iowa has a claim that a spouse can bring called loss of consortium. Okay. And what that means is if the spouse has been deprived of their normal relationship with you. So, for example, if you always do the grocery shopping, the yard work, and maybe you also take care of the house. And now,
lucky guess on your part.
Yeah, I know, Kathy. So anyway, if that's the case, then Kathy would have a claim for, hey, I have to do all these things that Lou used to do. And also typically when people are in pain, they're grouchy. So that's going to affect your relationship with Kathy as well. So that's loss of consortium.
Okay. Now what about insurance companies? Because they always come into play here, right?
Yes. So typically insurance companies, they're interested in settling the claim quick and settling it for usually the least amount possible. Not always, but usually that's their goal. So when the insurance company starts calling you, you need to remember you don't want to settle until you're done treating. And you do have a 2-year statute of limitations. And what that means is you have 2 years from the date of the accident to file a lawsuit. So you have plenty of time.
And do you suggest, people utilizing a lot of that time to make sure that you're okay?
Absolutely. I mean, you'd be shocked how many times a client will call and they'll say, hey, I'm all done with physical therapy. I'm feeling great. And I'll say, okay, let's wait a couple weeks. We'll see how you're feeling. And then they'll call me back within 2 weeks and they'll say, my back is now bothering me again, or my shoulder's still bothering me. So we like to give it a few weeks, a month to make sure you truly are okay.
Now, something else real quick, we want to mention that if you do get money for an injury, you have to remember you need to pay the insurance company back.
Yes, you need to pay your health insurance company back, absolutely. And so that's something that you just need to remember. And we always want to run all of your health bills, all your medical bills through your health insurance because you get that discount. So for example, if the medical bill was going to be $10,000 and it didn't go through your health insurance, you would owe back $10,000.
Wow.
But if it goes through, your health insurance, you might owe back, $5,000 or $3,000.
Okay.
So we want to make sure we do that.
Yeah, they get a discount discounts.
Yes, yes, yes. There's lots of moving parts, and that's something, I know at our office, we work to try to get the most money we can for the settlement, and then we try to reduce everything we have to pay back to put more money in the client's pocket.
That is awesome. People need to get a hold of you. What's the easiest way they can do so?
Sure. Give us a call at the office, 515-INJURED or 515-279-2000. Always happy to have a cup of coffee.
That is great. Thank you so much. Great, awesome information as always, Kim.
Thanks, Lou.
When we come back, we are anticipating Wicked coming to the Civic Center. We are going to visit with that gal right there, Nessa Rose from Wicked, next on Iowa Live. You don't want to miss it.